are a team. We do it together, and to be able to celebrate our championship together with you here, it means a lot. To bring that trophy here, it means a lot.
The Warriors returned to the White House yesterday, celebrating their 2022 NBA championship. It was their first visit to the White House in 7 years. They won the title in 2017 and 18, but did not make the trip while President Trump was in office. All right, joining us now is Warriors assistant coach Bruce Frazier, a.k.a. Q, live from Boston. Bruce, it's great to see you. I can't even imagine how exciting it must have been, like the past 24 hours for your guys. And so many of your players, you know, they grew up in situations where you wouldn't think that someday you're going to be meeting the president and vice president. This had to be like a pinch me moment for so many.
Yeah, it was really special. Again, you know, some of us have been there before, fortunately. But it wasn't old. You see different things, new people, new faces, different president in office. Really kind of cool to meet and connect again. I guess some of us have met her before, but the vice president, Kamala Harris, was, you know, you can feel her passion for our team and the Bay Area, and so the whole thing was pretty amazing.
Yeah, although, Bruce, I don't know if you guys had more fun or if President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris had more fun. They were pretty giddy as well, weren't they?
Yeah.
But tell us something behind the scenes that we didn't see on TV.
Well, I don't know what you saw on TV anyway, but I'll just talk a little bit about our experience, or at least, you know, it was great to meet the president. I felt like, behind the scenes, there's a lot of Warrior fans in Washington, D.C. and in the White House, in particular, or at least guests of friends and stuff. So it was really kind of cool to kind of feel all that, you know, in such a special place where you don't feel like you're that significant. I feel like our team and its players, more than anything, are significant to people, not only in who they are as players, but how they carry themselves and how our teams play. Many people spoke on kind of the passion and the grit and resilience that our team displays. And I think that's always nice to hear, because that's the way you want your team to play and that's what you think, but you don't realize that the world thinks that way, or at least, you know, bigger portion of the world. So it was cool to hear some of those words and thoughts behind the scenes. Really kind of neat to meet people that are from the Bay Area, that live in D.C. and are in the White House or in some form of government. And then you could just feel kind of the energy in Washington, D.C. It's always, you know, there's more security now entering the White House, lots more gates up from things that have happened. And so it was high security, a little difficult to get in, but still cool to see all of the things inside that we're able to with the library and some of the rooms and Steph, and I think Coach Kerr and a few others were able to go down in the Oval Office. So there was lots of kind of cool things going on with our team in the space that we were in.
Well, and also the politicians obviously know that so many of the Warriors players and coaches are outspoken when it comes to social issues. So I'm sure there's, you know, a lot of things that would bring you folks together in conversation. There was one image that struck me, and people may not know that you work a lot with Steph in terms of his pregame warm-ups, and so you spend hours and hours and hours with him. The shot of Steph and President Biden walking down the red carpet, to me, that was the shot that just blew me away, because, I mean, you know, I don't know what Steph has in mind in the long run, but President Curry, I think a lot of people would vote for that.
Yeah, I mean, Steph, I'm biased, but he's special in so many ways. You know, we see him on the basketball floor, and I work with him there primarily, but I don't know how much of his speech you saw when we were there. The vice president spoke, and then Steph spoke, and then the president. But anyway, his speech was amazing, and he's such a thoughtful, articulate, you know, speaker. I think even though I've seen him speak in many places, I was kind of blown away by how great he was and how you know, thoughtful his words were to everybody. And then some of the pictures that you guys have seen, and the guy's magical. Yeah. I mean, that's in everything.
So he's kind of great at everything.
Yeah. The only competition.
He's so good. He's so polished.
I know.
You know, he's authentic, and that's what makes it even better. Is that that's who he is. It's not an act. It's not, you know, rehearsed. He does think about things. He does prepare, but he's very authentic in his ways, and that's one of the things that makes him so special.
I was going to say the only competition he got yesterday was maybe from Clay, who had that picture in front of President Obama's portrait, looking pretty presidential himself, or presidential material. So we'll see. But you're in Boston. That's because you are taking on the Celtics, and that leads us to wonder if this is the start of something that will lead you to another White House visit next year, right?
Yeah, because Q, let's face it, the first half of the season hasn't been all that stellar.
Yeah.
I was thinking that maybe, you know, yesterday's celebration marks like a clear line of demarcation, like, all right, we're done celebrating the past accomplishments. Let's go forward now and really focus on, you know, the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a little bit of a really fun but a long and tiring trip, but I felt like when we landed here in Boston not too long ago that you could feel the energy and kind of the memory of what we did here, and it's now a special place for us. And even walking into the hotel in the lobby, you remember so many things that bring back memories from our title run last year. So, you know, we all know that we haven't played our best, and you know, we're work in progress, but we know that we can still be great. And so that's, you know, we're excited for the game tomorrow. And we're excited kind of for the rest of the run of the end of this year. We still have high expectations for ourselves.
So do we. So do we.
And so does the White House.
Yes, because the finals are on ABC7, so we have very high expectations.
Yeah.
But Bruce, thanks so much for your time, and I'll see you back here when you get back to Chase.